Hi. So I'm a little awkward already, and this is weird talking to so many people, but I wanted to make a post to talk about a few things that it took me a couple days to make this video, but I decided just to go for it. I just wanted to address a few things and that are important to me. And sorry in advance if you see nipple. Trust me, I'm a part-time nudist, so it doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you either. So yeah, all my new followers, very humbling, and they came from my daughter's Halloween costume. So I dressed her as Colin Kaepernick. I wanted to dress her as someone inspirational, just to pay homage to someone I actually look up to. And she got reposted by a lot of people. Kaepernick liked the picture himself, which was so cool. Hey, Cap. And I was reading the comments, even though I'm a firm believer on, like, not doing that. But there was a lot of love, but there was some hate. And I just want to address one or two of those topics and then move on, because I could care less about what people think. So first of all, this baby is an African American baby. Say, I look white, but I'm mixed. She has white in her, yes, but she is an African American. I read a lot of comments that said the picture was racist. It was like the black face painting thing that happened in Virginia, I think, because it's a Caucasian baby in an Afro wig. I'm her mother. I'm black. She's mixed, so I didn't mean any harm. Second of all, like, I'm really not about to get into the politics of the whole Kaepernick, who's for him, who's against him. I picked him for a reason. I made the costume from scratch for a reason. Kaepernick is using his platform in a peaceful way. You never saw him acting out in a violent, hostile way to prove his point. He's protesting in a peaceful way. He wants people to know their rights and fight for their rights and don't settle for anything less than what they deserve, what we all deserve. And he did it in a peaceful way. He kneeled. Kneeling like husbands, boyfriends kneel to their girlfriends when they want to propose. It's like a sign of love, a sign of endearment. That's the most peaceful way. Just know that I picked him for a reason. A couple people told me to go do my research. He's disrespecting the military and all that. First of all, my father is a U.S. Navy veteran, and we have so many close friends and family in the military. So my costume I post and Kaepernick mean no disrespect to the U.S. military at all. The purpose of her costume is the same as what I said in my caption, is that I could have dressed her up as a beautiful butterfly. I could have brought a tutu and a tiara and just told her she was a pretty princess. But I know I could do that, but why couldn't I dress her up as someone that's motivational, someone that's trying to make this world a better place? Like, I wanted basically to tell her she could be whatever she wanted to be, because that's what I'm going to tell her for the rest of her life. Which brings me to my company, Dear Sage. Ooh. So Dear Sage was originally meant just for my daughter. I wanted to leave her something that she could read that talked about her story, my story, like our story, and to just for her to learn from my mistakes and to be a better person. I wouldn't say not be a better person, be a smarter person, be a smarter woman than I was. I was looking back at all of the stuff that I had in her. It was actually hidden, so no one could see it. I only left the password in one of her scrapbooks that I made. So it's going to be hidden to the world. I just wanted her to be able to see it. It had conversations and pictures and text messages, like everything you could think of from the moment she was conceived until now. And I went back to like look at it, and I read one thing, and I erased it all. I just deleted it all. I'm not a person that gets really mad. Like, if you know me, I'm really calm, cool, collected. Lately, I've been getting really mad and irritated. But when I read that one little message, I just said, you know what? I don't want I don't want this to be my story. I don't want it to be our story anymore. I don't want to look back at it and think about it, or I just erased it off. But lately, my health hasn't been so good. As y'all know, I was in the hospital about a week ago and I haven't really fully recovered. I feel like I've been walking around. I feel like it's been affecting my health. Like, I feel it in my spine. I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my mind. It's like I'm carrying it around. And the best way I know how to heal is to own it, is to talk about it publicly and to leave it in my past, because that's where it's gonna stay. If you listen to my story and you can't relate to it at all, then that's what I want. I want women to listen and say, oh, I can feel her pain, but that can never be me, because A, B, and C. That's what I want. I want more women to feel like that. But I also know there's women out there that have had past like mine, and maybe they're ashamed to talk about it because there's this stigma on mental illness that you should hide your feelings and you shouldn't be open about things that you feel. But I don't care about any of those stigmas. It's my story, and I'm going to own it. And I'm going to overcome it, because it's not going to be the end of my story. So I had a tattoo blog. It was called Zuri's the Blind Tattoo Blog. I interviewed artists. I found people with dope ass meaningful tattoos, and I featured them on there too. And I also had all of my tattoos, the artists, and the meaning behind them all. And if you ever saw it, I'm not sure if you have, I'll leave the link to the Instagram. I moved all of the content to the Instagram because the website is going to close in 2 years because I'm no longer going to pay for it. You'll see that all of my tattoos have meaning. So also on my blog was a bio. The bio talked about everything I've been through as a child. I won't talk a lot about that, but I was sexually abused by my cousin when I was younger for a few years. For years, maybe even still now, I've dealt with depression and anxiety. And it was pretty visible, if you ask me. Like, I was that teenager, that awkward teenager that would take long walks at night, listening to Eminem. Like, I had a wall full of Eminem posters and Biggie posters, and was just, I know more Eminem lyrics than you do. Trust me, I'm his #1 fan. Yeah, I was just that weird kid, and no one stepped in to say, hey, maybe this girl needs help. I was dark. I would cuss people out. Anyone could look at me and say that something was wrong. I kept to myself. I was an introvert. I have friends, but just like my Instagram name, Your Favorite Loner, I've always been a loner. I've always kept to myself. Like, even in a group of people, I just feel like I'm by myself. Because of what happened with my cousin, I distanced myself from my family. My mother left us years ago when my parents got divorced. She moved in with her boyfriend, so I left my father to raise 3 girls, and he's a very strong man. I love him to death. He is like one of the best fathers. But when I was younger, of course, I didn't see that, so I gave him a hard time. And we didn't really have the relationship that I wish we could have had. But growing up, I just felt like I didn't have anyone. I didn't have my parents. I didn't have a curfew. I would stay out all late at night. Like, my friends would be like, oh, my mom's calling, I have to go back home. And I'm like, what? Okay. I was the first person out of my friends to get a car. I, of course, turned to drugs. I was smoking. My cousin who I stayed with frequently sold ecstasy, so I did that. Drinking, smoking weed, ecstasy, just numbing the pain for real. Cause I didn't know what else to do. Like, I didn't know about therapy. I didn't know about talking through my problems. I didn't know. I didn't have anyone to talk to. Like, I felt like I didn't have anyone that cared. So, of course, with daddy issues comes men relationship issues. When I fall really hard. Like, I don't know. When I find someone I like, I'm just all about that person. And I realize that's a bad thing, but I'm just like all about them. I'm the most loyal. Like, it's just them. We don't even got to be in a committed relationship, but if I'm for you, I'm fucking for you. So I talked about that in my blog. I mentioned her father. I mentioned how much I liked him, but I was realizing that it wasn't being fully reciprocated. So I need to back away from that and like really love myself, because he didn't deserve me. So I was like, no, let's just move on to the next. So long story short, her father reads my blog, everything about my past, everything about how I need to move on from him, and he still blows my phone up. So I'm like, okay. And my current emotional state wasn't thinking like, oh no, he's treating you as an option, you better not. Like, I was just like, okay, cool, you want to meet up? Let's meet up. So 2 weeks later, I'm sore, thinking that it's from working out for this job I was getting. But nope, turns out I'm pregnant. It was his birthday, so he was in California, so I let him enjoy his little birthday trip. I was sick, throwing up, and looking at his page, seeing captions like, living my life up in Cali. I was sick to my stomach, but the person that I am, I always put other people first. So of course I'm like, let him enjoy his time, because I don't know how he about to react. So the week goes by, and I tell him, and a whole different person comes out. Like, I used to always say, like, when girls be like, he was nothing like that before I laid down with him, before I had a baby with him, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. This was really like a Jekyll and Hyde, like a Joker, like, switch. I'm not even lying. Like, I can't even describe to you how shocked I was. I was shocked. I was in denial for the whole 9 months. Like, that should tell you how shocked I was. Stop. But all I was told was, bitch, call me when you're in labor, and I might come to that. So that basically continued for the whole 9 months. He said I wasn't worth seeing. He didn't care what I had to go through. When I say verbally abused me for 9 months, it was like bringing up shit from my past, using that against me, saying I was crazy because I was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, saying I was a crackhead because way back in high school when I used to do all those drugs, like I stopped those drugs when I was in like a senior. Like, definitely wasn't ever addicted. I just used to party and numb myself with them, but I wasn't like I need to get my drugs. Like, that's what he was making me seem like. Saying things like I could never do it, I'm not emotionally strong enough. He told his family not to speak to me at all. Like, they iced me out for the whole 9 months. Basically, I was just a carrier for his baby. Like, I was worthless. He made sure he made me feel like I was worthless, and all he cared about was the baby. And I was stressing. I'm emotional. I was emotional. Like, that was probably the most emotional I've ever been in my life. Like, and I was in denial. People were saying, like, why are you even still talking to him? And I'm like, are you kidding? Because my kid has to have a father. Like, hello. But I was ignoring, like, the signs that just because he's her father does not mean he will be a good role model, and does not mean that he could bring her any type of good. Hindsight. But while I was pregnant, I was just like, oh, she has to know her father. We have to make this work. That was my mindset. So he was just like digging and digging and digging and saying things that a woman with any type of self-respect, a woman who loved themselves, a woman who valued themselves would have cut him off in a heartbeat. But of course, not me. I let it go on for a whole 9 months. He was criticizing my hair. He told me not to teach her about symbolism because all of my tattoos mean something. He said all of that she doesn't need to know about. Said my whole family was worthless because of my past sexual abuse. They let that happen. Said that my hands look like grandma hands. Said that I would never be shit. Said he don't care. Like, the list goes on and on and on. Just know that we were arguing, like, paragraph to paragraph, back to back for, like, 9 months. And until I realized I knew, like, what was really going on. I was just in denial the whole time because I felt like he told me that his sperm did not get into me. I asked, and he assured me that we were safe. So when I wound up pregnant, I was like, no. He disrespecting me. No, this is not my life. Nope, it's not my life. I was just in denial. Because I'm a very peaceful person. Like, I was just trying to make peace of the situation, trying to make the best of it. And I was literally like a little bitch that he was calling me. I was like begging him to stop being mean. And I just asked him, like, what do you want me to do for you to stop being so evil? Like, I'm not asking to be your girlfriend. I'm just saying like, can we co-parent in a friendly way? He said the only thing that I could do was to have her, give her to him, and to kill myself. And he knew all about my adolescent suicidal stage. And I was very verbal to him my whole pregnancy about how his words were affecting me. So for him to say that and so much more, it just shows the type of person he is. I found out something about him which I already had in like an inkling. It was pretty obvious, but I found out something about him that I'm not even gonna be petty and say on here. But a reason why he literally hates himself. And people that have hate of themselves will project it onto other people. And that's the only explanation, because I'm the nicest person that you would ever meet. And I was, regardless of what he was saying to me, saying I was worthless, saying I was trash, I was still sitting there being nice to him. And I was still trying to say, okay, we can try to co-parent. I want to hear your side. Like, how do you want to do it? Like, let's do it together. No, not together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want us both to have a voice in this. And I want you to stop being so mean and just relax. And nothing I was saying was getting to him. Because deep down, he hates the person that he is. And so he mirrors that onto other people and on other situations. So regardless of how nice I could have been, it wouldn't have made a difference, because he hates himself. And deep down in his soul is like darkness. And it's like a black cloud following over him. And it's going to be that way until he learns how to accept himself, accept him for who he is, and learn to love himself. And then on top of that, I did some investigation. And I found out that his parents have over 10 years of domestic violence charges against one another. And then he had told me before that his sister's baby father beat her ass. So this whole time I'm using the excuse that, oh, he's young. Oh, he's just immature. That's not it. It's he's abusive. He was raised around abuse, and it's just stitched in him to be abusive, to not have any type of respect for women, to put no one before himself. He is like higher than God. And there's no changing that. There's no amount of years that's going to say, oh, he'll grow up and then maybe give him another chance. It's like, no. Because for one, even if we're not together, he's going to bring her around the next woman that he's beating the fuck out of. And what is that teaching her? Just like doing more research on the psychological effects humans have, like things that they go through in their childhood. Every experience comes back to them in the future. So like me not having love or feeling, reciprocating love from my parents, I went out in the world and tried to find love in other hollow people, because I was hollow, because I didn't know love. And him, her father, being around abuse, chaos. He told me himself that every fight that he was on his mother's side, like, so you were around it, you witnessed it, and this is why you are how you are. And you want me to allow my daughter around that? She's not going to grow up to think that that's okay. She's not going to grow up to think that it's okay to talk to anyone like that, because it's not. The way he treats people, the way he treats me, most importantly, can't be around her. The arguments, the fights, the chaos, I'm just not going to have it around my daughter. But I don't know if I was just overly emotional or the fact that I have a big ass heart. I have her. I let him know that I'm in labor. It doesn't come. And a week later, he hits me and he's like, he just wants a chance, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, something in me, something stupid in me, gave him a chance. You know, I was like, I'm just going to give it a chance. He's her father. I don't want her not to have a father just because of me. So I gave him a chance, and that's probably the dumbest decision I've made in the past 9 months, besides laying down with a fuckboy. So I give him a chance, and it's just like I thought. It's hostile every day. It's an argument. I'm a very calm, centered person, and I was just trying to be calm and be centered and raise her. But there was always something to argue about. Like, I even took her to see his family that iced me out for 9 months. Like, I was really trying to make things work. And it just wasn't. It's like fitting a puzzle piece into a puzzle that is the wrong puzzle. It just wasn't working. Just still getting bitch this, hoe that, bitch that. Like, no, it's just not going to work around my daughter. Like, the first day he was over, he criticizing how my butt looks, saying my butt is just so unattractive now after I had a baby. My hands look like grandma hands. My sisters are ugly. My mother looks like a druggie. Just like, if I'm inviting you over here to spend time with your daughter, to see your daughter, why do all that? Like, why continue the verbal abuse when I begged you for 9 months to stop it? Why? So I still try to ignore all that, and one day he puts his hands on me. Not necessarily punched me, but he pulled my leg after I've repeatedly asked him not to touch me. He wanted to see my ugly stomach. So he pulled my leg really hard, and when I asked him to leave, he says, "The fuck you gonna do? Call the police? I ain't going nowhere." So that day I decided that we're out. Like, it's just too much. And he was complaining about me breastfeeding, like, just too much. We were out. So I moved, and I completely cut him off. When you stop responding to the negativity, you immediately rise above it. And the moment I stopped talking to him months ago, I just felt like the weight lifted off my shoulders. Like the black cloud wasn't following me around anymore. That me and my daughter were in peace. Like there was no chaos around her, and that it was just an amazing feeling. But then again, I also got threats that said that he was going to stalk our every move, which is, I have very high anxiety, and I had to stop taking any anxiety medicine the moment I found out I was pregnant, which made my whole pregnancy 10 times harder, and still harder now that I'm breastfeeding and I can't take them. But so my anxiety has been really high about that. So that's why I moved. I'm not scared of him at all. Like, he's a toothpick. I can break his ass in half. But it's just a very anxious feeling. Like every time I go to Maryland, I have protection on me. I'm always looking around. Like, it's not a good feeling. It has my anxiety on edge. But I know with time it'll get better. And I'll rise above that too. Like, I'm fucking breakable. Like, I'm gonna get through everything. But I did have a moment where I felt like my story wouldn't be heard until I was gone. I know. She tried to make me not even say it. I know, baby. I know. She said, don't speak that negativity. I don't feel like that anymore, but honestly here, very transparent. I felt that way for a while when I first cut them off. Like, I felt like I wasn't going to be here to tell my story, and I wasn't going to be here to watch her grow up. But speaking that into the universe is wrong. She's even telling me that. She's telling me to shut the fuck up. Okay. Because I know everything God has is both. And yeah, we'll be okay. But if anything were to happen to me, y'all know who the fuck to look at. So now, since I'm just like a super nice person, I'm living with the guilt of even letting her around him and his family to take her away. Like, it really, despite what they may think, like, I really feel bad for them. But, like, even today, I don't have hatred for him in my heart. I want to see him succeed at life, but it's just not going to be anywhere near us. And I'm sorry, but I can't be around. I can't let that in my energy. I can't let that around us at all. And that is basically the purpose of Dear Sage. I wanted to teach her, let her learn from my mistakes. Because honestly, like I said before, any other woman would have been out. Like, the first month, they probably been like, oh no, fuck this shit. I'm going to just raise her by myself. I want her to, I just can't imagine her going through something like my whole teenage rebellion stage, or even my pregnancy. I didn't have my mother. I just never really got affection from my mother or my father, and no shade to them. And I'm not going to say I want to raise her better, because there's so many people in this world that have worse childhoods than me, and I'm aware of that. I had a roof over my head. I had clothes. I had food. I get that. I'm not going to say I want to raise her better, but I'm going to say I'm definitely going to raise her differently, because I can't imagine her ever going through things that I went through, or that showing the signs that I showed that I clearly had mental health issues. Like, I was depressed. If they even looked at my wrist, you could see that I cut myself a couple times. That was probably a cry for help. I'm not sure. I couldn't imagine not being right by her side. Like, and that's what made me decide to try to go global with it, because there's so many little girls out there that don't have the parents that would tell them that they're worth it, tell them that they're beautiful, tell them not to tolerate any type of negativity, tell them that they're better than what they may think that they are. And that's the whole point of Dear Sage. I just want to instill it in these little girls that they are worth it. And you're beautiful, and you could you could be anything in this world. Just ignore any type of negativity. And I feel like today in this world, it should definitely be a conversation, because you turn on the radio and all you hear is music that's constantly degrading women. And then you have women listening to it, dancing to it, showing their little kids. Like, I can go on Instagram right now and I bet you I'll find a video of a little girl rapping to Cardi B. And not to say that the women rappers are the problems. They're not. But they're not helping. And I know Cardi, I'm actually a fan. I know I'm a hypocrite. But I seen her video saying that she needs to change her lifestyle because she knows the younger generation is watching, which is true, and I hope that she does. But it's not even just her. It's every song on the radio. Like, I was on Snapchat today, and some girl was singing along to a song that says, "Bitch, you ain't shit. You just a place to put my dick." Like, stuff like that is just like, whoa. Like, this is what our younger generation is looking up to. All of these drug users, that's a whole nother subject. But just de-womenizing women. And so little girls are just thinking that they're worthless for real. And it's very important to me that however many little girls I can reach, I can tell them that they're way more than that. And they're just worth way, 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 way more than that. Like, especially my daughter. Like, she means the world to me. And if she were to ever feel like the way I felt when I was younger, like, it's just no way I could ever let that happen. And I just want more mothers to be on board with the movement of raising their little girls with self-respect, with dignity, just with confidence. That's the big word right there, because for years I had no confidence. My self-esteem was so low. And that's what I was putting out that was the energy I was putting out into the world. And that's what was attracting me to people. Like, one of my ex-boyfriends was very abusive. He never, like, stole me in my face or nothing, but we used to fight all the time, like, battles and shit. And then I end up with a baby father, like the one I have. And it's just like the energy that you put out into the world is what you receive. And so I just want to, I mention everything, and I just want to leave it in my past. And I just want to help from here. It's not about me. It's about my daughter, and it's about your daughter. And that's what Dear Sage is about. I only want to help inspire them and help mothers become better mothers. Because these parents are just popping out kids and not really raising them with any type of morals, just feeding them and clothing them and letting them do whatever. It disgusts me. And I just want to vomit when I think about that, because I'm going to be by my daughter's side for every single last thing. And yeah, I just hope I could. My main goal is to help my baby girl, but I would really love to get to the point where I reach thousands and thousands of little girls and just help them realize their self-worth. So I'm getting all the legalities out of the way. I now am the owner of the name Dear Sage. I didn't realize how much you really had to do to start up a business. And I've kind of been sick. Like, my back has been out of commission. This is the first day I'm putting on makeup in like 2 weeks. I'm starting my vision board. Well, I've been working on it. My daughter has been trying to eat it. But I started my vision board. I'm working with a few people, and slowly but surely things are gonna come together. But I just wanted to make this video to say thank you to all my new followers, and to anyone that's supporting of Dear Sage. And yeah, just stay tuned. I'll have a lot of merchandise available soon. I'm not trying to rush the creative process, but just know that it'll be ready soon. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you. And I'm sorry if you saw a little bit of nipple. Like, that's what boobs are for. It's really important to me. So raising her, mental health will definitely be in a conversation, which it should be in every household, just like mental health. Because maybe if it were, we wouldn't have all these like mass shooters and rapists and serial killers. Like, we need to talk about mental health as much as we talk about physical health. I know it'll be a conversation with me and my daughter, but I could talk about her all day. I could post about her all day. Like, I've become one of those mothers that I used to hate. And it's just like, I don't know. She's just so perfect to me. Like, but I am working on myself, and I'm growing every day. And Dear Sage is just something that I'm so happy to do. So hopefully me and my business will grow together. And you too, right? Are you going to smile once? Give him one smile. Just smile one time for the video. There we go. There we go, Mommy. There we go. Say bye-bye. Say that's all, folks.